What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Obviously, bringing you guys here BlackOut8 Day 2 recap, and predominantly, as you see in the title, the Nitty versus Illmac review. Did not get to catch the entire card. It's just it's hard, you know what I'm saying, to go to. I caught most of the card, but it's so hard on back-to-back streaming days, man. Shout out to the 2-day events. Shout out to the battle rap festivals we've been having. Most of it has been fire, just like Blackout was, but it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I love, like, just a 5 battle card. Really mean everything to me. But wasn't able to catch the first few battles here. So Pepe and versus EK and Joey Gambello versus Loso. Gonna spin the block and watch those. Wasn't able to catch them live, but everything else in this card that I saw, and I thought that it definitely was a step down from day one. I think day one is definitely the heavier card here. But with that being said, you know what I'm saying, there were still 2 extremely standout battles. I won't talk too much about Jay versus Madflex here, because I believe I'm going to be reviewing Jay and Madflex and putting it out tomorrow, hopefully. Just such a good battle. Really just as good as Nitty versus Illmac, if not better. So I feel like it's going to deserve its own spotlight. But just know that was a fire battle. Was able to catch Carter Deems body and Tricky P. Carter Deems, king of the strange matchups, kind of undefeated in these types of scenarios. And on top of that, he has some pretty good wins too on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Carter. JC 30 low Pesci. Cool battle, but I thought he did him pretty bad. And then you have Jay versus Madflex, like I said, which I will be having a review for. But Nitty versus Illmac, main event, god tier type of battle here, in my opinion. I have the utmost respect for Illmac as a legend. I think he's one of the top 15 battle rappers of all time, if not top 10. Incredible body of work, and we all know that going into this thing, Gannick said it himself, this was going to be all about penmanship, one of the best penmanship matches in battle rap. Did it live up to that? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you'll see here in the review. So, starting right off with the first round, Nitty starts off first. Illmac won the coin toss, having Nitty go first, and Nitty starts with this capital scheme. You know, if I'm in British Columbia, that's where the burn would be. So he's obviously doing a little bit of a geographical scheme here. You know what I'm saying? He does the big nickel, which I'd assume is parts of Canada. He was kind of mentioning some places I did know, some places I didn't. Obviously, I know Burnaby in British Columbia. But for instance, he had a yellow knife. I cut Tam Butter. I damn near had a yellow knife. I did not know that was a town in Canada. You know what I'm saying? Homie gave me the information on that. So definitely works this scheme with a bunch of different references, which is, Nitty has been more known for elongated writing and scheming, so that was cool to see. He had a crop circle bar somewhere in there that I thought was pretty dope. You could see it in the patterns. I was in the field, like a crop circle. Mook with the Skittles. I dropped a bag on the iron. I thought that was pretty clever too. You know what I'm saying? Probably my favorite bar from his first. And then he has this Toronto bar, like 3-yard, 2T, 3-0. He spelled out Toronto. And then he calls time. Nitty's first is not only short, which is something to talk about. Really, we'll talk about with his second round a little bit as well. It turns out that it really wasn't as short as I thought. I thought it damn near was like a 90-second round. Like, he rapped pretty clean to like the 230, 240 mark. But his first is not good, bro. After that first round, I'm like, this is kind of beyond beatable. I was kind of shocked to see that. And then Illmac goes, and he hits the crop circle haymaker. You know what I'm saying? Really good haymaker to start. He's up right there. The Godfather bar, cutting a horse head off. Godfather, the scene, that was fire. The Jack Sparrow pack barrels for rum was dope. And then they gave me gin and rum back to back. Perfect time to black out. Haymaker, you know what I'm saying? Performed it, you know what I'm saying? Took a shot with it. By then, he's won the round. By then, Illmac has won the first round. Then he gets into the punching and lack of substance angle, which is something that you're going to see a lot against Nitty, and really a extreme focal talking point of this battle as we go on. But he already starts by executing it really well, in my opinion. Your punches are about words. My punches are about you. Really breaking down that difference in penmanship and style, and I really thought that was good execution of it. Then had a bar about his fake J's, had me saying, what are those? Talking to your soul. You know what I'm saying? Soul of the shoe, talking to the soul. I thought that was fire. There's no risk in punches angle. Yeah, working, you know what I'm saying? A lot of different stylistic breakdown stuff here. And as a breakdown round, Illmac's first, like I said, he won by the blackout haymaker. So by the time you get to there's no risk, and saying like there could be angles at him that Nitty will never take. You think I could rob a foundation, a nonprofit, and he'll never mention that. He says, you think I could get away with that versus Hollow Lux or Big K? I thought that was a good little, like, the whole breakdown, man, I think is great. Who's going to beat him worse, me or Lux? Pop, that was a loaded question. So he gave you everything, man. He even gave you a little gun bar at the end. So this is a masterclass in the first round by Illmac, in my opinion. I love his first round, and I really, really don't like Nitty's first. And to me, it's really more than just a clear 1-0. Illmac was kind of torturing Nitty in the first round of this battle. Then we get into the second round of this battle where, similar to the Jazz the Rapper battle that he had recently, where he went down a dominant 1-0, and then Nitty comes back and has a very good second in response, especially energy-wise and bar-wise. He is the Joe Swanson opening bar. I thought that was pretty decent. And then goes right from there to the, I love this free healthcare in Canada, because I can drop them off the dock with no, whenever I feel ill, with no charges. That was a haymaker. So right there, 1 bar in, Nitty's second is better than his first, in my opinion. I mean, it was really that no charges bar is one of his best bars of the battle, and it immediately eclipses pretty much everything you see in that first round. The Alka-Seltzer bar was fire. You try to get chicken out of this battle, but they made you ill like salmonella. I thought that was fire. I run down on him with the Geek Squad and have Mac running as fast as ever. Incredible, you know what I'm saying, for first half of the round. The Greg Oden, he does like a little mini scheme with the Portland. He's a trailblazer from Portland. Now Greg just owed and washed up. I thought that was crazy. Nitty's had a couple great Greg Oden bars by now too. Clip on it like a panhandle, and that's for Poe people. I thought that was dope. And then even his last bar, the Optimus Prime, Mac will have to stand up to face the alien. So Nitty's second, once again, a little bit of a shorter round like the first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the happiest about that. I feel like in this battle, it could be more of a 3:34 minute type of round, man. Like, I really think it's that. It's Illmac and Nitty, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got to explain myself. It's that good of a battle. So, even in the second, I was down to see him kind of really cut off tight with the time. But his second is just waves better than his first content-wise. I mean, from the first bar to the last, it's almost like a night and day difference. You go from one of the weaker Nitty rounds that you're just going to see in general to, okay, boom, we've woken up. So good second from Nitty, and then you get into Illmac's second, and he starts out kind of referencing, foreshadowing that he was going to get into kind of like an alien concept for the round, a lot of different alien references, and he starts off with some Predator bars, the Predator to Prey bar, and in my opinion, my favorite bar, damn near from his round, is Even With Dirt On Me, the alien can't see me. That was fire. I like that a lot. I'll beat you with the belt, talk about how he was Cody. I'll beat you with the belt till it buckle you. I thought that was dope. And then he gets into a weird section of the middle of Illmac's second. And Illmac rapped longer this battle, which I don't have too much of a problem with. He did double it in time, but it's a prize fight type of matchup. You know what I'm saying? But one of the downfalls is here in the middle. He's the no let up bar, chain of command. I thought that was all right. And some good rapping, but then it leads into the anal probing bar. And I'm not going to, describe all of it. It was actually kind of a funny bar, you know what I'm saying, the way that he put it. But it was a pause, you know what I'm saying. It was in the middle of a lot of content that wasn't already hitting like that for me. So kind of creates a bit of a dry spot there. And then he takes the twerk style angle into the pyramid scheme bar. And my thing is that I'm not the biggest believer, you know what I'm saying, just in the angle. Obviously, it's an angle I've heard used before against Nitty about taking the sound, and something we'll get more into the third round, but I thought the Pyramid Scheme bar was cool. I thought the Space Jam bar is pretty cool, and before the end, he lands the light years between us haymaker, which I thought it just took a minute for him to build up to that. It is a close round, though. Like I said, I love the first half of Illmac's first. I love the Predator scheme, and I love the light. So I love the way he started and ended, but the middle, you know what I'm saying, I thought it gets a little bit hit or miss. So I think it's a debatable round, but I would personally edge Nitty the second, making it 1-1. And then we get into the third round of this battle, and Nitty's third is definitely his best round of the battle, which it normally isn't when we talk about Nitty battles, but this is a fantastic third round. He starts off with the 1,000 Islands bar, which was dope. Check the trailer, the announcement, check the trailer, how's my driving bar. I thought that was fire. I thought the bareback bar was pretty cool. I'll have him, they slept on this one. I'll have, you got all the bitches in Canada dry. They ain't even feeling ill no more. Thought that was dope. The Mac and Me bar. So he's hitting much more back-to-back now, you know what I'm saying, with potency to each punch. The Mac and Me bar is dope, and then he gets into a portion of, you know, something you don't see from Nitty often. I thought he really executed it well. It's this kind of counter-writing segment, this reverse angle about how, you know, that everyone does the anti-punching, which really, we're going to talk about the third here. Illmac does all 3 rounds. It is definitely the focal point of his attack. Is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, and he has this counter-right, which is kind of funny to do it by the third, because you've already faced the first, where I thought Illmac did it his best, and even a little bit of it in the second, right, with the third still on the way. But you get into this, you know, if you're breaking down everything I do, you're an analyst, you know what I'm saying? Like saying punches, you keep saying it's all my punches aren't easy, but everybody's watching, everybody's breaking it down to the core. He said, I'm not going to switch up when my name is bigger, I'm top dog, and I'm more accomplished than you. Kind of really flipping, you know what I'm saying? Taking an angle in defense, you know what I'm saying? Which is kind of the premise of counter writing in general. And he said, he's going to mention is, all I do is punches, flow basic. And what he's not going to mention is I'm the most dangerous. I thought that hit, and all of this long buildup, you know what I'm saying, substance-filled buildup, kind of direct from Nitty, building up to the I can't put you on my Mount Rushmore, but I can give you a headstone. So back-to-back punches to start. Really one of my favorite Nitty segments. I mean, an absolute haymaker dead in the middle of his third. And then ends it out pretty good. The Rent to Center bar is pretty cool. The Influenza bar was fire. Slide on Mac, Ice Trucker bar, I thought that was fire. The TSA bar, you know, pretty cool. And then the Lay Mac Down bar, I thought was pretty dope, man. So that really one like moment almost that kind of takes, I don't even want to say takes away, but it's almost like you just walk away no matter what thinking of that headstone bar. But really a well-packed third from the beginning to the end by Rum Nitty, and the longest round that he had. It's the type of round you're supposed to have for this battle. And then we get to Illmac's third, where we can really have more of the angle-based conversation, because I feel like this is kind of where he really zeroes in on it. He has the I don't have the app. He starts out with the app angle. I don't have the app. You're still mid-tier to me, which I thought was funny. You know what I'm saying? And then the learn from the losses. Kind of had this whole app thing where Nitty has a pretty big YouTube footprint. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much I'm bought into the angle in terms of, like all of Nitty's, like Nitty was top tier before the app hit. You know what I'm saying? But obviously I thought he had it the boxed in on the paywall. I love the ending punch of it, and it's all wrapped amazingly. And that's a big thing about Mac's third, is that he has a lot of angles here, you know what I'm saying? But how you feel about the angle landing or not, or maybe the validity if it connects with you, it was all wrapped so good. He gets into a little bit of OG talk about he's been here for all these different events, and ends it off with I've been here since Cortez was skinny and Verb was fat. Really, once again, about the wrapping of it. But that was fire too. And then he has the callback to the Tori Hanzo blade, and then he gets into, once again, the taking Twerk style and only punching angle from the first, you know what I'm saying, the little bit he put in the second, and he kind of brings it all back to go full on again in the third. And as he gets into it, the first one I want to talk about is the twerk style angle. And this is the angle for me that I'm not really bought on all the way. The only punching, like I said, in the first, I thought he had some great execution talking about Nitty style. I thought the first was a great style breakdown round. And the third is like a rehash of that, right? But he introduces the twerk style angle, where I believe Twerk himself said today, like me and Nitty don't rap anything alike, you know what I'm saying? Which it's kind of tough when you paint that he sounds like this or he stole this, and Twerk, who has actually talked about a few people biting his style, you know what I'm saying? Classic bar that he had on Shine, 20 battle win streak, a few other battlers, and then you get here and he's like, No, you know what I'm saying? It's not like that. So I do like some of the stuff crafted around it. You know what I'm saying? Like the pyramid scheme bar in the second was creative. By the time you hear it in the third, it's a second rehashment, and I'm not bought into that. I just think that Nitty is unique. You know what I'm saying? While him and Twerk share some similarities, there's still differences in the way that they write, in the way that the haymakers are delivered, and I think a little bit in their writing patterns. Although I do think that both of them recently have moved more in a pen-heavy direction, specifically Nitty, as opposed to just a puncher direction. But it's just not an angle that I'm super bought in on. And then this is the only punch angle, right? And I think this is where it's kind of dope, is Nitty's counter writing kind of works. He does it extremely late in this battle in the third, which is like, why would you do it in the third? That's something you do at the beginning when you know that that's really what you're going to hear for a majority of the battle. But this is, once again, the second rehashment. I don't like it as much as the first round. And I do think that there is some dope material here. I think the cycle of copying that he talks about people mirroring each other and calling Nitty a microcosm, and the best example of it, there is some good content in there. But for me, I just don't think it's tough when I still love the third, though. Like, you know, he can rap that, but it doesn't make me think that Nitty just, what he does is easier, what he does isn't good. And it's not delivered as good as the first round, in my opinion. While I still think it is delivered great, though, like purely from a rapping perspective. And then when you hit the end of his third, the shadow boxing haymaker was so good. But it just took a very long time to get there. But I did love the shadow boxing bar at the end, but I just feel like by the time that we hit the third round, this was, you know, for saying Nitty only punches and does this, well, this was 3 rounds of that same approach, you know what I'm saying, which was good at points even in the third, right? But an approach that we've heard a lot of times against Nitty. If we're saying that the punches are stale, you know what I'm saying, or redundant, is it not a little bit redundant when we get to this angle again for, you know what I'm saying, maybe the 10th, 15th, 20th time. And I still think it's a good round. I still think it's a very debatable round at that. But me personally, I did find myself edging Nitty the third. I think the counter writing is really the difference here in the third, just because it did follow. What followed it was exactly what the angle was the counter writing was referring to. And for me, that little bit in 2 fire third rounds gives me the edge to Rum Nitty, and in turn giving the battle to Rum Nitty 2-1. But that is my full review here for Illmac and Rum Nitty, and really Blackout Day 2 and Blackout as a whole, man. So you guys let me know what you thought of the battle. I'm really intricate on this one because it's that intricate. You have 2 guys that are 2 of the absolute greatest writers ever, but almost within 2 different lanes of the writing as well, right? Because obviously they don't share the same style, but they're both extremely revered from a penmanship perspective. You know what I'm saying? For 2 different reasons. In terms of how great the battle was, I think it's a great battle. I don't think it's an instant classic. I don't know if it's a classic. I mean, it's something you could age to be, but especially when you have it's hard to pick apart anything, because like I said, I still think it's like an 8 out of 10 battle. Maybe a 9 out of 10 battle, but I definitely think it's like a strong 8 out of 10 battle. But when like Nitty's first is as light as it is, even like rounds being a little bit shorter, you know what I'm saying, up until you get to the third. And then with Illmac, a little bit of rehashment of angles. I think both of them had a little bit where it was still great versions of them. It's still, it's something I'm very happy with product-wise, but I don't think it's an instant classic. I really think, like I said, this and Mad Flex and Jay can be debated as for Battle of the Night. But I would love to hear your guys' take on the winners. I think that there's a lot of cool debates to have here because it is that intricate of a battle on the penmanship level. I do think it met up to those expectations of showing that high-level penmanship from both. Love the Illmac return, love the performance. And the way I scored the rounds, I see some people that got Illmac 3-0 or Illmac Gentlemen's. I'm not tripping at y'all, man. I'm definitely not tripping at Illmac 2-1, let alone Gentlemen's, being that I gave him the first clear and the second and the third, to me, are debatable rounds. You know, I happen to edge Nitty both rounds, but I do think that they're close rounds, and it was a great Illmac performance. I'm seeing that it's a highly contested battle, and that's what you want from this one, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you guys let me know your standouts from Blackout and who you had winning Rum Nitty and Illmac and why in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinion. But it's been Jay Small Reviews again, y'all. Mad Flex and Jay review out tomorrow. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.